Hello and welcome to tonight's LOL Esports Roundup. We're going to cover the LPL and LEC games from earlier today. Just a little thing about the Discord. The 6th Hall of Fame class was officialized yesterday, or became official yesterday. That's how to say it. And I started the 7th class voting. 6 new names are on the list. 3, well, we won't even get into it because if I can't name all 6 off the rip, then I'm not even going to go over it. Farther than that, so if you'd like to participate, that is there. LPL, Anyone's Legend, OMG. OMG win 2-0. They finished the split 11-5. Anyone's Legend 4-12. Abel was MVP, 16-2-5, 34% of damage on a Kaisa and Samira. Aki 4-2-13. ZDZ 3-7-3, 29% of damage in the loss. So Anyone's Legend actually kept really good pace with OMG in this one. Both games. Abel came through big time on a Kaisa. In game 1, he had pretty much all of the KP. He and Aki. Cream, non-existent for a lot of this series, in my opinion. I thought Pinzi was maybe even more relevant. Top lane-wise, Shanji, ZDZ. ZDZ looked good at times in team fights, I thought. Now, Shanji obviously is a better player. His Kaisante in game 2 was pretty good. But ZDZ's Fiora was impactful at times, so he deserves some credit for that. iBoy and Zora, they struggled into Abel and PP God, that's without a doubt. Zhao Hao, probably the most irrelevant player on here. I really can't think of much that he did. Anyone's Legend, these players, I said it yesterday, all 5 players are playing for their 2024 lives. And I thought that ZDZ secured himself an LPL spot next year somewhere. As far as the other 4, I think that it becomes a toss-up. RNG, LGD, RNG win 2-0. They're 8-8. LGD 2-14. Breathe was my MVP, 6-3-11, 29% of damage. He played Gnar in game 2. Rumble in game 1. Tangwan 4-1-16. Meteor 0-6-11, 26% of damage for LGD. RNG did not win this cleanly. LGD did fight. LPC looked very good at times. However, Breathe was a menace. In game 1 on the Rumble, solo killing Meteor in his own jungle. That was pretty wild. LGD playing Decade in top lane really was a bit of a diffy there for RNG. Mid lane, Tangwan Hai Chao. I thought Tangwan did fine. He didn't die a lot, hence 5-1-6. He is, last month has been better than his first month. It shows true development, which is good. For RNG's sake as they go to playoffs. As far as bot lane, LP and Lamau, I thought LPC and Jinzhao matched them. Lamau getting caught out a couple times once more. I feel like, at least based on our Discord, we have a certified Lamau hater right now. Lamau has made quite a few mistakes in the last few series, but at the same time, there are some good games in there, and I think to not seem like we have an agenda against a player, we have to acknowledge both. But in the end, RNG do find a way to win game 2 after LGD were up. And I thought Breathe had a lot to do with that on the Gnar, with his zoning and things like that. Lastly, Weibo EDG. Weibo win 2-0. They finished 10-6, EDG 8-8. Weiwei was my MVP for his Vi performance in game 1. Light 16-1, 22, 30% of damage. Crisp 1-3, 40. So the bot lane went 17-4 and 62. Uzi 8-6-9, 33% damage in the loss. EDG started Fisher over Fofo, and needless to say, Fofo has some job security. Fisher looked like absolute shit. Zhao Hu gapped him. We have to keep in mind it is Fisher's debut. I am probably being too harsh by saying he looked like the way he did, but Zhao Hu gapped him. Really, Weibo gapped him in general. Weiwei went after him in mid lane and successfully did. Weiwei was solo killing EDG players all over the place with the Vi. Just absolutely disgusting. Did die quite a bit, but that's the case of a Vi. Clearly had the right idea when it came to picking which person to kill in team fights in the late game. Game 1 was a banger, ton of kills, very close, back and forth. EDG almost ended. They couldn't. Weibo would then finally end. And I thought that Weiwei had a lot to do with their success to get them that far. Crisp played excellent. That's without a doubt. As Weibo, their bot lane looks good. It's just they need consistency. What they did against EDG is what Weibo can do when they're at their best. Now, how often does that happen? That's the problem. LEC SK Excel win 2-1. Abadage 13, 6, and 19, 31% of damage. A lot of that has to do with his LeBlanc in Game 3. Patrick 9, 3, 20. Certus 17, 9, 9, 33% of damage in the loss. Game 1, Certus played his best game on the Tristana of the three. However, Excel would find a way to win that one. They would go top lane a lot in Games 1 and Game 2. Otawamne getting ahead on the Gnar in Game 1 and Irrelevant really struggling. Then in Game 2, there was a lot of action up there once more. Clearly, that was the emphasis for both teams, for Peach and for Marcoon, who were matching each other. Peach did gap Marcoon a bit in gold in Game 3. The gold was in SK's favor, yet Peach was always ahead. And he was on a Maokai into a Sejuani, so it's not like it was a carry-oriented jungler into a facilitator. So it didn't make me want to make Peach MVP, but I thought that in the late game, Abadage was a difference maker on the LeBlanc. And that's what gets him the pick. I mean, his Azir game, he got caught out a bit. His Jace, you know, he dealt damage, which is why he had 31% of the team's damage. But in terms of you know, significance, I thought the LeBlanc was his best of his three. Patrick taking on a non-carry role for a first time. I mean, Ziggs, Ashe. I mean, Ziggs deals a lot of damage, but Ziggs is not a Patrick champion, really, when you think about it. So that's the deal. Exakick, I thought, didn't show up really in this one across 3 games. When you take them all into account, I thought he left a lot on the table. And that's unfortunate because, I mean, I expect a lot out of him. But he is a young player with, you know, a lot of, you know, growth to be had. G2 BDS, G2 win 2-0. Caps was MVP on Tristana in Game 2. He had a penta to end it. BDS did hand it over, which I despise. I think that is bogus, but they did it nonetheless. Hansama 16-3-21, 33% of damage. Yikes, 7-1-39. Absolutely smoke showing Sheo. Nuke 4-10-11, 30% of damage in the loss. If it wasn't for the Penta, Mickey X was going to be MVP. I thought his Rel and Nautilus was just the best support play we saw in quite a while. The Rel was just outstanding, setting up everything for G2. Interesting picks in Game 1. We saw Lucian mid for Caps, and we saw Adam playing Garen. Lucian mid struggling in the early game, but then the mid to late game, Caps was able to pilot the champion very well, as he has in years past. And as far as the Garen was concerned, I thought Broken Blade struggled into Adam. I thought Adam solo killed him at one point in Game 2 on an Olaf, Broken Blade on a set. And then Adam was able to really take over some team fights and die in Game 2 on the Olaf, just going ulti and whatever, Thor, Rage mode, whatever the hell. And, you know, being a menace, but then dying, and then, you know, is like BDS, like, just, like, stalled out after that. So, you know, similar to how I felt about Exakick, who is much younger than Crowny. Crowny, I felt like, left a lot in this series on the table also. So, G2 winning 2-0. Not a shock, as I went 4-1 in predictions. I'm 213-104. And that's it for the roundup. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And I hope to see you again tomorrow.